What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Concrete Edge right here on Deco-Crete TV. My name's Jeff, and on today's episode, we're going to be going over all the variety of different tools that you're going to need to get started with vertical concrete, so stay tuned and you're going to learn all about it. Man, I gotta tell you, vertical concrete has gotten really popular in the last 15 years or so, and is honestly one of my favorite things to do with decorative concrete. It is so much fun. Now, when it comes to the tools, it's easy to get overwhelmed because there are so many different things out there, and there's no set defined list for any of this stuff. I mean, honestly, if you watch the seasoned pros carve concrete, I mean, you're going to see them using all kinds of weird little things that probably won't even seem like they were made for vertical concrete, because they weren't. They probably weren't even made for concrete at all. Now, as you gain experience with this, I mean, you're going to probably find yourself doing the same thing. In the beginning, though, there are some things that you're just gonna need in order to get started, and we're gonna break them down into a few different categories. So first off the bat is gonna be a heavy-duty mixer. I mean, this is not something that you're gonna be able to mix very well with just a little cordless drill and a mixing paddle. I mean, honestly, even like a small corded drill probably isn't gonna be enough. You really need an actual proper mixer for this. At very least, like the Ivanstock 18 or the Colormix X01, to me, those are the minimum that you're going to need for this. And you could always step up to some sort of an auto mixer, something with a lot of power that does a lot of the work for you. Now, along with that is going to be large mixing tubs. Again, 5-gallon buckets, not going to work for this. We're going to need to be able to mix at least a couple bags of material at a time. And in that case, one of these big tubs here from Colormix is my go-to for this. Now, the last thing, I mean, this isn't a required thing. This is kind of an add-on option, but this little water dosing unit here from Colormix, man, I absolutely love this thing. As long as you can get this set up with your hose right, this just takes all the guesswork, all the measuring out of mixing this stuff. It makes you go faster, and you're gonna be more accurate. Now, on to some application tools, and the first thing is going to be a steel pool trowel. I mean, really just steel trowels in general, but I really love a little pool trowel like this. This one, there are a couple different sizes, but this one here is my favorite one. Now, it's also nice to have a variety of other steel trowels when you're doing your scratch coat. Sometimes just a big old finishing trowel is going to be the best thing you can have there. Now, it's also nice to have one of these little Scarifier rakes, or maybe even 2 different sizes like this. This would be for your scratch coat only, and after you throw up your mud and you trowel it out, you just want to run the Scarifier over it to give you those fingers for your scratch coat. Now, bucket scoops, I mean, honestly, I got 2 different ones here. One of them works really good for just, scooping mud from one bucket to the next. The other one works great for I like it here for scratch coats, because I can use this to pull mud out of the bucket and put it right on my trowel, and I absolutely love this for thin coats or scratch coats. Now, when it comes to texturing tools, this is going to be, again, this isn't necessarily, we're not into carving yet, but before we start carving, a lot of times we're going to need to add texture, or maybe even as we carve, we're going to add texture. And so right off the bat, just getting some kind of a kit. There's a few different options out there that comes with some rollers and some skins, and also some of these little handle stamps, and these things are incredibly helpful. And again, you can buy these, you can piece these together, or you can buy a set. Check our website. We got a few different options on here for different things. But now, another thing to create texture is brushes, and a variety of them. And honestly, there are certain guys out there that they don't even use a ton of skins or rollers. They really create all their texture with brushes. Now, to me, the brushes are kind of an add-on thing. I wouldn't want to go to a vertical job without them, but we do still use a lot of skins and rollers. Another thing that you can do is you can take some brushes like this mason brush or this tool cleaning brush, or you can actually make a custom tool out of this by letting a little bit of mud dry on it, and now we've created our own texture. Honestly, all the different brushes you see here, they're all going to do something just a little bit different. Now, we do have a full episode on making these custom brushes, so make sure you check that out for these. So now when it's time to start doing the actual carving, there are so many different options out there, so much cool stuff, but a few things that you're going to want to make sure you have right away, and you can expand from there. First is a mason trowel or a pointing trowel, and I like to have one that's a little bit smaller, kind of like this one, or it could even be smaller yet. And this is what we're going to be used to lay out our lines. We're going to use this for a little bit of carving. We're going to use this for a variety of different things. And, again, it's nice to have just a couple sizes of these. Also, these little picks that has like a little mason trowel in one hand and a little square little trowel on the other hand. These are awesome to have. These are pre-made by Craft Tools. We do sell these here at Deco-Crete. You can get these right on our website. In fact, most of the stuff you see here, you can get on our website. Now, another thing that I like to have for the very end is some shims, and these could be wood or plastic. In fact, I kind of like to have both of them along. depending on the day. Sometimes one seems to work better than another one, but this is something that works really good to really clean out the grout lines really well, and so some shims are something that you always want to have. Okay, so on to a few detailing tools, and this would be honestly kind of like next day stuff. Like, you know, we carved our concrete yesterday, we did everything we could, it's set up now, we're back to next day, and now we're just going on to some final cleanup. And so the first thing is one of these carbide tile cutting tools, and this works great to get back into your grout lines, really shave things out. Now also putty knives and scrapers and screwdrivers, these are all other things that you can use to kind of shave at the concrete, work your mortar lines back, or whatever you need to do. It's just kind of getting into it just a little bit more. Now it's also nice to have just a mason brush or a big paintbrush with you, just to kind of clean everything up, sweep everything out of your joints as you're going along. You're going to do some final clean before you move on to the next step, but having a brush to just keep everything clean is always a nice thing to have. Another thing I like to have the next day is a rub brick, or just some sort of a little abrasive tool. And again, if I need to try to take any material off, do any shaving, if I've seen something that I missed from yesterday, it's always nice to have something that's a little bit abrasive that I can shave stuff down with. So last step to vertical concrete, we're going to have to add color at some point. So a few things you're going to need for the coloring part aside from the stain itself. First up is just a normal trigger spray bottle, and honestly I don't need anything special for this. Now it's also really nice to have a sea sponge to go with this, and we do have a full video, a few different videos on this technique with the sprayer, the sea sponge, all this stuff, so make sure you check out those episodes of Technique of the Week. But definitely sea sponges, and then also rags, and I say just bring an entire box of rags. You never know what might happen on that job site, and don't run short on rags. Now, a paintbrush, I mean, it was rare that we would ever actually use a paintbrush to apply the color itself, but I do like to have one with me just because who knows, sometimes that might mop up some runs, which is always good to have a paintbrush and maybe even a roller on hand just in case you need it for some weird reason. Well guys, that's pretty much it for this week's show. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, man. We really do appreciate all the support that you guys show to the channel. And don't forget about the Decorative Concrete Expo. It's going to be the last week in March. Just click the link right down below. This happens every year. All the info is there. From all of us here at Deco-Crete TV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.